My name's Kevin Bredthauer. I've coached the Ironmen for a year now, and before that I'd coached Dynasty for 2 years and Infamous the year before that. My playing career was with Dynasty for about 6 or 7 years, and during that time we won tons of events through Europe, the NPBL, and through the PSP. I retired from playing and decided to start coaching. Andy B asked, what are the necessary steps to make it to the pro level? It's not like any other sports at all, because it's one of the few sports that has no high school or lower levels. So most sports like baseball, you'd play in junior high, high school, and then go on to college and then go play pro. Well, paintball doesn't work like that. Paintball works through divisions, I think. So first you start playing regional events or local events, play tournaments there, and then you move on to more farther away regional events, and then you move on to national events. And during that time, you move up through the divisions. There's no easy way to do that, and the only way to get to pro faster is get lucky or know someone on a pro team that gives you a chance. Stephen Nguyen asks, at tournaments, do crowds make you nervous, and do they affect the game? Me personally, it never made me nervous at all, and I barely heard them most of the time. The only time that I really enjoyed it was when I played in Europe and we would play against a European team and the crowd would boo us. I really enjoyed that, and I don't understand these other pro teams that in other sports that say there's a home field advantage. I think that's completely ridiculous, because I actually enjoyed getting booed more than anything else. In addition to that question, because of the new PSP rules where you only get to coach from one side, it really varies on how that might affect players, because depending on their experience level and how bad they can take insults or misdirection or counter coaching can really affect their play negatively or positively. Most of the time I really don't think it makes much difference at all, but every once in a while you'll see a guy go bunker someone that's not there, and generally that's because he was listening to someone he shouldn't be listening to. But that's why it's really important to have a coach that has a little bit different voice or a little bit different tone out there, or is his dad. That's helpful for us. Brian Clark asked, how do you feel about the new youth that's entering the pro level? Personally, on the Ironmen, there are 3 new younger players, and that's Kyle, Eric, and Cece. And I think it's actually really hard for them to move up to the pro level, because there's no semi-pro anymore, and it's hard for them to gain any experience. So in order to do that, they just kind of have to learn the hard way. So they've spent the last year learning the hard way, and I think they're finally starting to catch on. Joe Tippett asks, if pros make enough from playing paintball to do nothing else? It really depends on the individual. Some individuals have a full-time job and play pro also. There's others that work for a paintball company and also play pro, and that makes it a little easier on their schedule. And then there's others that actually just play full-time. And they can do this in a variety of ways, through clinics, appearances, guesting for different teams in different areas like South America or Europe, or even in the US. So it really depends on the individual, but it is possible to play pro paintball, and that's it. Brad Warren asks, what's the required pressure and volume to propel a ball at 300 feet per second? I called Billy Wing, because he's the only one that I know that's an expert on this, and he told me the answers to these questions. And so for an NT, it uses about 125 psi and about 1.4 cubic inches of air to shoot a ball at a roughly 300 feet per second. Now obviously, I've taken a few physics classes, so there's a lot of other things that are involved with this. Billy told me that it depends on how close the valve is to the ball, and depending on the gun, that's different. It also depends on your elevation, whether you're at sea level or at 5,000 feet. It also depends on the humidity level, and numerous other things that are too complex to explain.